Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name's Trevor. Very grateful to have you here. Today is a weekly rotation recap of what fragrances I was wearing here just about the second week of October. So, very tumultuous or eventful week for me in my personal life. Haven't been as active in the fragrance community. Good news is I've gotten news that I will be having a son in February, so it's very exciting to learn that. Part of my absence from FragCom is just my wife is pretty pregnant now, and our daughter is about 1 year old, so I've been tending to her a lot in my spare time. My work has been pretty stressful as of late as well, so usually when I come home I'm not feeling very photogenic or ready to get in front of the camera. I'm kind of steaming a little bit a lot of the time. But that being said, I think things are starting to calm down a little bit, at least in my personal life. I know geopolitically things are getting a little carried away, but this is a fragrance channel, so we're not going to be getting into any more details on politics. We're just going to get right into my review. These weekly rotations kind of help, I feel, display what fragrances I'm actually reaching for, and so are somewhat, unless I'm testing something out, which I'll mention, are great recommendations as they're what I'm actually putting on here in October. Starting off with Monday. So Monday reached for this right here, Sarah Jessica Parker's Stash. I believe that this is marketed to women, but it's got a certain masculine edge with the degree of woodiness in here. I think it is a little bit sweet, so be aware of that if sweetness isn't your cup of tea, but it's not gourmand. It smells a little bit like very nice, fine, high-quality, polished wood soaked in a maple syrup. So it's got a very light style sweetness, almost akin to honey, but more of a maple syrup type vibe, with some beautiful, smooth wood finished type of heart, and then a little bit of spicy pepper up top to kind of give it the sparkly effervescence that makes it a bright fragrance, great for the weather on Monday, which we were still hanging out right about around the 90-degree mark. So this was a great kind of fresher take on a woody fragrance to wear for that Monday. This was Sarah Jessica Parker's Stash. Okay, second fragrance. Here we have Tuesday, Eau Sauvage Parfum 2017 version from Dior. Again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're still hanging out about 90-degree point. This is a great fragrance for that in the fall because it has a very beautiful citric opening that gives it a very revitalizing, fresh, and easy to wear fragrance in hotter weather. But the dry down in here is incredibly woody with this very nice resinous LME resin and a beautiful lavender style barbershop running through the heart. So one of my favorite sort of barbershop fragrances in the transitional seasons. Favorite time to break this out is the spring and the autumn. But this was a pleasant and well-welcomed companion for that Tuesday. This is Eau Sauvage Parfum, the 2017 version. A little bit lighter, fresher, and more citric than the 2012 version. Okay, next we have for Wednesday, African Rose from Memo. So I believe I got this one in the mail on Tuesday or Wednesday. Don't know if I quite recommend buying this as it's a limited edition from Memo. It's sort of like a flanker to African leather with a very nice, almost 80s style rose. It reminds me a little bit of like Aramis 900's rose, but a little bit more polished. Luckily I got this because I caught a discounter with their pants down, and I bought it at a pretty good price. Still pretty expensive. I paid $250 for it, but as soon as I bought it, they had to relist it at around like $320, I think. So I got a really good deal on this one. It retails for $590. So that's one reason why I wouldn't necessarily recommend picking it up, but I'm glad that I was able to procure it because this is it's kind of like Tom Ford Noir de Noir. I actually haven't smelled that fragrance, but I've got a lot of clones of it, like Club de Nuit, Intense Woman. And this, I feel, is the only version of that DNA, that kind of chocolatey patchouli rose fragrance, that is masculine enough for me to wear confidently and feel in my masculineness. One of the other ones I have is Sublime Rose from Angel Schlescher that goes in that vein. I love that fragrance. I think it smells beautiful, but it's something I usually wear at night because it is a little bit effeminate and floral. This, however, just does an exceptional job of presenting that sweet rose fragrance in a very, very masculine kind of way. I think maybe the little bit of a hint of leather that you get out of this, similar to how in African leather it's not quite a leather fragrance so much as like a spicy cumin, cardamom kind of deal. But this just does an excellent job. I absolutely adore the smell of it. I just don't know if I could really recommend going and buying it for the inflated price that they're asking for it. But again, really glad I was able to get a steal of a deal on this one. Pretty hard to find fragrance and an excellent, excellent wear for Wednesday. Okay, Thursday, still was in the mood for the rose, being October, one of my favorite months to wear rose. This is Cartier Declaration D'un Soir Intense. So I've recommended D'un Soir quite a bit during the spring. This goes in that same vein but takes the rose from a sort of dewy, fresh floral and makes it a little bit more jammy and sweet. But otherwise you have a nice envelopment of culinary style spices, a little bit of a savory touch enveloping a rose, which is what the D'un Soir DNA does. This just takes the rose, makes it a little bit sweet and jammy, but was probably I don't know if I want to say my favorite wear of the week, because this was a killer week for wearing fragrances, but this one is definitely one of my favorites for the autumn time for sure. Sadly discontinued. I think it's hard to find these for under $160 right now, but I think this is just as good as any sort of Tom Ford that you'd be paying that price for from a discounter anyways, so consider maybe looking into this one if you're a fan of dark rose fragrances in the autumn time. This is Declaration D'un Soir Intense. Okay, Friday. So Friday is the day I would like to wear niche fragrances. This one is perfect for the time of the year that we're in, and also just an easy grab niche fragrance that has a certain degree of mass appeal. This is Tom Ford's Oud Wood for Friday. Very, very pleasant wear. The more that I've worn it, the more that my nose has gotten used to it, the less nose blind I've been going. The longer this seems to appear to last. When I first bought it, I thought the performance was pretty poor, but then I smelled it on my clothes a few days later, and now I'm easily getting 6 to 7 hours, average performance out of this, which, maybe might be too short for the price you're paying for this, but I was able to find, I got this 100 ml bottle for sub $200 on Aura Fragrance. So again, I think this is an exceptional fragrance. I can see why it's so cloned. I'll be looking forward to doing a comparison video with Versace Oud Noir in the future, but that's a great alternative and discounted price on this DNA if you wanted to check that one out as well. I think they're both great for October, being nice, smooth, woody fragrances. And so that was my daytime at work on Friday. When I got home in the evening, I again still had that itch of rose in me, so I threw this on for my scent of the night on Friday, Moschino's Toy Boy. If you're not familiar with this, again, it's a nice rose enveloped in a bunch of spices, but instead of being culinary, kind of like the Declaration D'un Soir is, this is a lot more like Sichuan pepper and some like musky qualities to give it a little bit more freshness. This is definitely a very unique fragrance, niche quality in terms of bringing a new DNA to the market. I would say pretty affordable. You can get this 100 ml for like $60. I recommend getting the 50 ml bottle though. I think the 100 mls on this are a little bit clunky, and a few sprays will do you justice. So that was Moschino's Toy Boy for Friday evening. Love, love, love this one. Okay, and Saturday, this is a newer one I was testing out, something that I'll probably be reaching a little bit more for in November rather than rocking it in October, even though October is one of my favorite times to rock barbershop Fougeres, as with the Sauvage, but this is Fougere Nobile from Nobile 1942. Again, a niche fragrance, kind of expensive. Got a good deal for this on Fragrance Net. I think they're going for right around $75 or so on there right now. Beautiful, easy to wear Fougere fragrance that dries down into this very earthy, chocolatey patchouli. They don't even list patchouli as a fragrance note on Fragrantica for this fragrance, but they do on Parfumo, and that's really one of the main players I get here. It's like patchouli, tonka bean, and lavender. And yeah, it's a little bit linear, I would say. But like I said, easy to wear Fougere. I got this for under $100, and I think it is an excellent offering for that price. Really easily accessible and to wear Fougere fragrance. So definitely check this one out. I'm going to be getting a lot of wearing experience out of it coming up closer to the winter, I would say, as this goes a little bit heavier and darker than some of the October fragrances I've got lined up. And then finally, for Saturday, I rocked Prada Lunar Rosa Black. Love this fragrance more so every time that I put it on. There's elements of it that stand out to me, and it gets a little bit more depth and richness after each wear, I would say. Beautiful sort of sweetness, but it's like, to me it comes off as like an aspartame sweetness or a stevia sweetness. That's what I meant to say. So it's not quite sugary sweet. It's like got this sort of medicinal sweetness that you would get in like an icebreaker mint or like a stevia packet. Sort of what I get here, with a very nice sort of misty quality, like a fog is what comes to mind when I'm wearing this fragrance. A little bit of a green tinge in a hazy cloud. So there's something mysterious about this fragrance, a little bit green, a little bit powdery, a little bit Play-Doh-y, and a soft, subtle, like I said, stevia style, almost minty sweetness. Excellent stuff, easy to wear, and it gets a little bit smokier in the dry down, but highly recommend this one. I don't know if it's discontinued, I've heard rumors of that, but right now, 2023 fall, this is a great time to pick this one up if you haven't already. So that was my scent of the day on Sunday night, Prada Lunar Rosa Black. Really great sort of week for me. It's finally started to cool down here after Wednesday. We got down into like the 50s and 60s. It's kind of a cloudy day here today on Monday. So really glad that these fall fragrances are able to shine near me a lot more than they were earlier on during September and October, I would say. And really looking forward to putting out some more content, talking about some of these fragrances, doing some comparison videos for the remainder of the autumn. Let me know what your weekly rotation was in the comment section down below. I'm going to try to respond to some of my unanswered comments here going on throughout the week. Like I said, I'm starting to settle back into a phase of normalcy right now. But as always, I really appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video. I hope this was helpful. If you are still watching, feel free to check out some of our other videos on the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.